On Saturday, a provocation of war unfamiliar to the world reached its peak. The rhetoric surrounding this attack is that this is Israel's 9/11.
Israel is under a heavy attack.
There's never justification for terrorist attack. The United States stands with Israel.
Welcome back to When the World News Wednesday. On Saturday at 6:35 a.m., Hamas launched a full-scale surprise attack on Israel by land, sea, and air. To put this into perspective, the Israelis have one of the best intelligence agencies in the world. So the fact that this attack came as a surprise signals a large failure. Mohammed Deif, the leader of the military wing of Hamas, has said, quote, "The enemy will understand that the time of their rampaging without accountability has ended," end quote. One thing must be clear: Hamas is not synonymous with Palestine or with the people of Palestine. However, they do claim to act on the behalf of Palestinians as they occupy the Gaza Strip. Hamas is supported by Iran, and in this recent attack, there is zero evidence to prove that Iran supported this attack. The United States and the European Union have designated Hamas as a terrorist regime. But how did we get here? Let's start in 1917 when the British issued the Balfour Declaration aiming, quote, "the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people." Fast forward to 1947 where the UN created a proposal dividing the land of Palestine into an Arab and Jewish state. Then the city of Jerusalem would be considered a neutral international zone because it holds sentiment to both Muslim, Jewish, and Christianity religions. In 1948 to 1949, there was the Arab and Israeli War because the Arabs began to feel that this UN proposal was unfair and was actually giving them leeway to more European colonialism. This war resulted in Israel pushing past their borders and taking Palestinian land. Fast forward again, growing Israeli settlements displaced thousands of Palestinians. Intifadas start in the 1990s to the early 2000s, causing mass casualties on both sides. After the Intifada in the early 2000s, Israelis began building walls and checkpoints to control the movements of Palestinians. Instead of finding a concrete solution, Israel decided to tame what they viewed as the problem. Tensions over the past few weeks have been rising between Israel and Palestine. But the attack on Saturday is what some analysts are saying is a war never seen before. So what does this conflict mean now? First, there will be a large number of casualties on both sides. As I'm filming this video, there is already 1,600 Israeli deaths and over 600 Palestinian deaths. Electricity has been cut off to the Gaza Strip, which is where many Palestinians live and occupy. However, that is also where the Hamas fighters live. Israel has warned individuals on the Gaza Strip to leave. However, the border with Egypt is closed and checkpoints make it hard for Palestinians to enter Israel. So, where will they go? 2. This means that the normalization of diplomatic relationships between Israel and Saudi Arabia will be put on hold, which is bad news for the United States. Lastly, there are hundreds of Israelis that have been kidnapped by Hamas fighters that the IDF is seeking to return safely. Until then, I'm on the side of humanity, of liberation, of peace, and of justice. I mourn the deaths of Palestinians and Israelis who are caught in the crossfire of a war that they didn't ask for. That is it for this episode of What in the World News Wednesday. Keep in mind, this is a developing story, and as it develops, I will try my best to keep you updated, but also please keep in your prayers the Israelis and the Palestinians who are affected, and there are several nationals abroad in Israel who are dying.